Look, Bob, the fountain of youth.
That's great, honey. I will drink first to make sure it's safe.
Bob?
Did you get a good laugh out of that? Well, I can't take you back to infancy, but I can show you how to look years younger, to feel more energetic, and to slow down the aging process. And the best part, they aren't expensive treatments or miracle cures. They're just simple habits that anyone can start today. Hey, I'm Daniela, the vegan mom, and in today's video, I will share 5 powerful habits with you that will help you look younger, feel younger, and slow down the aging process. And who knows, by the end of this video, you might discover that the fountain of youth is more real and more magical than you ever imagined. And before we dive into the fountain of youth, you might actually be curious how to put these principles into practice. So I've created a free workshop for you called Back to the Garden of Eating. In this workshop, I'll show you how God's original plant-based diet can help support better health, increased energy, weight loss, disease prevention, and a more compassionate way of living. It's completely free, and I will place the link in the description below. Now let's begin with the very first drop from the fountain of youth. The very first drop from the fountain of youth begins with an act of kindness. Kindness toward your body, kindness toward the earth, kindness toward the animals. It starts by replacing animal flesh and animal products with wholesome plant foods. From the beginning, God's ideal diet for humans was plant-based. In Genesis 1:29, He told humanity, "Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food." In other words, Eden was vegan, and according to Bible prophecy, God's original plan will one day be restored. The Bible describes a future world with no killing, no violence, and no death among God's creatures. In Isaiah 11:6-7, we read, "The wolf will lie with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the cow will feed with the bear, and the lion will eat straw like the ox." This beautiful picture describes God's desire for harmony throughout creation. The beginning of the Bible shows us God's original plan, and the end of God's plan points us back to the same peaceful ideal. But God's guidance about food wasn't limited to Eden or future prophecy. Throughout Scripture, He repeatedly gave instructions about eating that were designed to protect health, preserve life, and promote human flourishing. When we examine the biblical record, a fascinating pattern emerges. God's food laws were never arbitrary. They were gifts intended to support vitality, strength, mental clarity, and longevity. Let's take a look at several biblical stories that reveal the powerful connection between what we eat and what happens to our body, our mind, and our spirit. One of the most striking examples is found in the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. After freeing the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, God led them through the wilderness toward the promised land. To sustain them, He miraculously provided manna from heaven every day, a simple but perfect food that met their needs. But the people became dissatisfied. They complained and longed for the meat they had eaten in Egypt. Rather than being grateful to God's provision, they demanded flesh to eat. God eventually gave them what they insisted on. He sent an enormous flock of quail into the camp. However, while the meat was still in their mouths, the anger of the Lord fell upon the people, and he struck them with a severe plague, and many died because of their greed and rebellion against God's guidance. The lesson is profound. God's original provision was sufficient, but the Israelites rejected it in favor of their cravings. Their story reminds us that following God's wisdom about food leads to life, while indulging in unhealthy desires can bring painful consequences. Yet the Bible doesn't leave us with only a warning. It gives us an inspiring example of the blessings that can come from choosing a simpler plant-based diet. Hundreds of years later, a young man named Daniel faced a very different test. After Jerusalem was conquered by the Babylonians, Daniel and his companions were taken captive and selected for a special training program in the king's palace. The Babylonian king wanted the brightest young men from conquered nations to serve in his government. As part of their training, Daniel and his friends were given the rich foods and wine from the king's own table, a diet that many would have considered a privilege. But Daniel made a surprising request. Instead of eating the king's rich food, he asked for a simple diet of vegetables and water, a decision that would lead to an extraordinary outcome. At first, this seemed like an unlikely recipe for success. Yet after only 10 days, Daniel and his companions appeared healthier and better nourished than those who ate the king's food. More importantly, God blessed them with wisdom, understanding, and clarity of mind. At the end of their training, they were found to be 10 times better than all the wise men and advisors in the kingdom. Daniel's story reveals a powerful truth. When we honor God's principles, even in something as ordinary as what we eat, the benefits can reach far beyond our physical health. They can strengthen our mind, sharpen our judgment, and help us with greater vitality and purpose. From Eden to Daniel, the Bible repeatedly points us toward a simple, plant-centered way of eating. God's instructions about food were never meant to restrict us. They were given to help us thrive. And that brings us to the second drop from the fountain of youth: sleep. If the first drop from the fountain of youth is nourishing the body with the foods God designed, the second drop from the fountain of youth is giving the body the rest it desperately needs. Every evening, something remarkable happens. As the sun sets and darkness covers the earth, God flips a switch in our bodies. Hormones shift, cells begin repairing themselves, the brain starts cleaning out waste products, tissues heal, memories are organized, the immune system is strengthened. So in a sense, when the planet turns the lights off, our bodies are designed to start their nightly restoration project. Yet many people do the exact opposite. They flood their eyes with artificial light, stay awake long after their bodies are asking for rest, and interrupt one of the most powerful healing processes God built into creation. In the very first chapter of the Bible, God established a rhythm of light and darkness, evening and morning. He created our world with cycles of activity and rest. Every sunset is a reminder that we were not designed to run endlessly. Even God set aside a day of rest each week, teaching humanity that restoration is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Our body still follows the same pattern today. When darkness falls, the brain begins releasing melatonin, often called the sleep hormone. Blood pressure decreases, body temperature drops, repair processes accelerate. Throughout the night, the body works on healing and restoring itself. While we sleep, damaged tissues are repaired, hormones are balanced, the immune system is strengthened, appetite is regulated, the heart is given time to recover from the demands of the day, memories are sorted and stored, learning is reinforced, the brain removes toxins and waste products. In other words, sleep is not wasted time. It's one of God's most powerful healing tools. Think about it. Every night, your body sends out an army of tiny workers to clean, repair, rebuild, organize, and restore nearly every system in your body. No medication, no supplement, and no medical procedure can fully replace what sleep does naturally. Scientists have discovered that even a single night of poor sleep can affect concentration, mood, decision-making, blood sugar regulation, and immune function. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, depression, and accelerated aging, the very thing we are trying to stop with our fountain of youth. In other words, if you want to age more slowly, think more clearly, strengthen your immune system, and enjoy more vitality and energy, protecting your sleep may be one of the most important habits that you can develop. The lesson is simple. Turn the lights off when the planet turns the lights off. Darkness is not an inconvenience. It's part of God's design. For thousands of years, human beings rose with the sun and rested after sunset. Our bodies still operate according to that ancient rhythm today. Protect your sleep as carefully as you protect your eating habits. Every night, your body is offered the chance to heal, repair, restore, and renew itself. Don't miss that opportunity. Sleep is God's nightly repair program, and it's an essential drop in the fountain of youth. And now let's discover the third drop in our fountain of youth, hydration. If sleep is God's nightly repair program, hydration is the delivery system that keeps every repair process running smoothly. Think about a pond with no fresh water flowing to it. Over time, the water becomes stagnant, debris accumulates, algae grows, and the water loses its freshness and vitality. Now think about a mountain stream. Fresh water is constantly flowing through it, carrying away impurities and bringing new life wherever it goes. Our bodies work much the same way. Every cell in our body depends on water. Water carries nutrients to where they are needed. It helps regulate body temperature, it cushions joints, it supports digestion, it transports oxygen throughout the body. Most importantly, it helps remove waste products and toxins that would otherwise accumulate in our tissues. And without adequate hydration, these processes begin to slow down. Energy declines, mental clarity suffers, digestion becomes sluggish, physical performance drops. Even mild dehydration can affect your mood, your concentration, and your overall well-being. In fact, the human body is made up of approximately 60% water. Your brain, heart, muscles, and organs all depend on an adequate supply of this life-giving substance. So, how much water should we drink? A simple guidance is to consume about half your body weight in ounces of water each day. For example, a 120-pound person would aim for about 60 ounces daily. A 160-pound person would aim for about 80 ounces daily. and a 200-pound person would aim for about 100 ounces of water daily. And people who exercise heavily and work outdoors, or people who live in hot climates, they obviously need considerably more water than the example that I just gave you. The lesson is simple. Keep the river flowing. Just as fresh water sustains life in nature, proper hydration helps sustain life within us. Every drop of water from our fountain of youth supports the countless processes God designed to keep our bodies healthy, energized, and functioning at their best. Water may seem ordinary, but it is one of the most powerful tools God placed within everyone's reach. Water nourishes our cells, but movement activates our cells. Imagine a healthy stream flowing through a beautiful valley. The water is fresh, clear, and full of life. But if that stream were dammed up and stopped flowing, it would eventually become stagnant. The same is true for our bodies. We can drink all the water we need, but if we spend our days just sitting around, our muscles weaken, our circulation slows, our joints stiffen, and our bodies begin to lose the vitality they were designed to have. From the very beginning, God designed humans to move, to walk, work, build, plant, explore, and care for His creation. Movement isn't an optional part of life. It was part of God's original design. And that, my friends, brings us to the fourth drop in our fountain of youth: exercise. Adam and Eve were not created to sit behind desks, stare at screens, and spend their days in recliners. They were placed in a garden to tend the garden, cultivate it, and care for it. Their lives were filled with purposeful activities. Today, however, many people spend most of their waking hours sitting. We drive instead of walk. We watch instead of move. We rely on machines to do the work our bodies were designed to do. Yet our bodies still crave movement because movement was woven into our design. And when we honor that design, remarkable things happen. Exercise does far more than build stronger muscles or improve physical appearance. It awakens and strengthens nearly every system in our body. When we move, the heart becomes stronger and more efficient. Circulation improves, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Muscles grow stronger, bones become more resilient, joints remain flexible and mobile. Regular movement helps regulate blood sugar, supports a healthy weight, lowers stress, improves sleep, and boosts energy levels throughout the day. But the benefits don't stop there. Exercise also transforms the mind. Physical activity stimulates the release of endorphins and other natural chemicals that promote feelings of well-being and vitality. It sharpens thinking, improves memory, lifts mood, and helps reduce anxiety and depression. Many people discover that after a walk, a bike ride, a swim, or a workout, they feel calmer, clearer, and more focused. Exercise also helps to protect against many of the chronic diseases that shorten our lives, while preserving strength, mobility, and independence as we age. Think of exercise as a tune-up for the body. Every step, every stretch, every lift, every movement sends a message to the body. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay alive. The body responds to movement by becoming more capable, more resilient, and better prepared for the years ahead. There is a simple saying that contains a lot of truth. Motion is lotion for the body. The joints that move stay healthier. The muscles that are used stay stronger. The heart that is challenged becomes more efficient. Use it or lose it isn't just a saying. It is one of the fundamental laws of human health. The lesson is simple. Keep moving. The body was designed for activity, not inactivity. Every walk, every stretch, every bike ride, every swim, every workout is an investment in your future health. Exercise is not a punishment. It's a celebration of the body that God gave us. Move your body every day, and it will reward you with better health, greater mobility, and a better future ahead. Every workout puts another drop into our fountain of youth, but not every drop comes from physical activity. Some drops come from the heart. We think of health as something that happens in our muscles and in our joints, in our lungs and in our heart. But one of the most powerful influences on our health comes through our emotions. Feeling compassion, yes, my little baby, and caring for another living being and forming meaningful bonds. I love you so much, my little baby. That can change us in ways that science is only beginning to understand. It is just such a beautiful thing when we care for our animals. And that leads me to our Fountain of Youth drop number 5. Compassion for animals. Hi, Titi girls. I love you so much. Yay, I love you. This is Chi-Chi. She's our little Chi-Chi girl, that's what we call her. Chi-Chi is 15 years old. She came into our lives 15 years ago at a park where people just didn't want her anymore. She was just a little 6-month-old puppy. And people said, hey, we don't want her, here she is. And they handed her to us. And she came into our lives so long ago. And we have loved her ever since. She's my little baby. Hi, baby. Yes, I love you. Animals have a remarkable ability to touch our hearts. Yes, this is my other baby. Her name is actually Baby. Even though she's so big. Yes, you're so big. And I love you. Okay. Let's go get down. I love you too. The simple act of caring for animals can become a powerful contributor to a happier, healthier, and longer life. Animals have a remarkable ability to touch our hearts. Whether it is a loyal dog greeting us at the door, a cat purring contently beside us, a rescued farm animal enjoying a peaceful life, or wild birds singing outside our window, animals enrich our lives in countless ways. They bring us comfort during difficult times, they help us reduce our loneliness, and they encourage us to be more present. And animals do feel pain, fear, comfort, love, joy. They have friendships. And anyone who has shared their life with an animal, whether it's a dog, a cat, a farm animal, you can attest to the fact that animals are sentient. They are not objects or machines. They are living beings with their own experiences and their own desire to live. Once we recognize this simple truth, it naturally leads to a much deeper question. How can we show compassion to not only the animals that we know and love, but to all animals? For many people, the answer begins with the food on their plate. Modern factory farming and industrial animal agriculture often treat animals as commodities rather than as sentient beings capable of suffering. Billions of animals spend their lives in conditions that deny them the freedom to engage in many of their natural behaviors. For those who value compassion, this reality can be difficult to reconcile. A growing number of people are discovering that they can enjoy delicious, satisfying meals while reducing or eliminating their participation in systems that cause harm to animals. By choosing a plant-based lifestyle, you are aligning your actions with your values. And then we discover something really, really amazing. Compassion feels so good. There is a sense of peace that comes from knowing that you chose compassion over cruelty and over indifference. That your meals can nourish your body without causing suffering and harm to another being. But the benefits may not stop here. Many of the foods most strongly associated with healthy aging are plant foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. These foods are packed with fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and countless protective compounds that support long-term health. Around the world, the healthiest people are the ones that eat plants. So the plant-based lifestyle can become a powerful expression of both compassion and self-care, a gift to animals and a gift to yourself. Because compassion changes us, it softens the heart, and it reduces hostility, and it helps us see ourselves as a part of a larger community. And a meaningful life is one of the greatest ingredients of lasting happiness. In the end, compassion for animals is more than just about a diet. It's about choosing kindness whenever we can. It's about recognizing the value of life in all its forms. It's about living with greater empathy, greater awareness, and greater respect for the world around us. And every time we choose compassion over convenience, kindness over indifference, and mercy over harm, we drink another precious drop from the fountain of youth. And if today's video inspired you to explore the connection between health, compassion, faith, and plant-based living, I would like to invite you to my free workshop called Back to the Garden of Eden. In this free training, I will show you how God's original diet can support vibrant health while helping us live in greater harmony with His creation. And I will leave the link in the description below. So, is there really a fountain of youth? I think there is. It's not hidden in some distant jungle or guarded by ancient secrets. It's found in the choices we make every day. How we nourish our bodies, how we rest, how we hydrate, how we move, and how we connect with the world around us. And one of the most beautiful parts of all is learning to love and respect and extend compassion toward animals. The friendships, joy, purpose, and compassion they bring into our lives enrich us in ways that are difficult to measure, but impossible to ignore. Maybe the real fountain of youth isn't a place at all. Maybe it's a way of living. But unlike Bob in the beginning of this video, it won't turn you back into an embryo, but it might help you feel younger, live healthier, and enjoy the years that God has given you. And that's a kind of magic that is available to all of us. Please like and subscribe and become part of our vegan tribe. And until I see you in the next video, may you be well and may you know peace. Bye for now.